Alright, CNT120, Chap6Lab. We just got done connecting our two devices wireless to the network. If I were to go out here and look at our logical tab, I would see both of my laptops connected here, and we were able to browse and all that kind of good stuff over here. So we have them connected. Alright, what we want to do now is we want to add the MAC filtering on that only the 2.4 laptop can get on the 2.4 network, and only the 5 laptop can get on the 5 network. That's what we want to do. So we're going to browse back into our desktop router here, our small home office router, and we're going to go to the MAC filtering option on there to just put those laptops in. So I'm opening up my desktop over here. I'm going to browse back into this home router to the wireless config part, and we'll add those MAC filters in. Alright, so open up browser. We're going to plug in the gateway address 0.1. Admin will get us in. In real life, we would want to change that login password to add a little bit of security to it. So here we're going to go back to wireless. And then here's our wireless security that we did before. This is the basic wireless. This is the wireless security where we set up the encryption. We're going to keep going. There's guest network if we wanted to enable that. We're going to go to wireless MAC filter. And what we want to do is we want to add the 2.4 laptop into the 2.4 port here. And then we'll add the 5 laptop into the 5 port here. So I'm set here on the 2.4. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the MAC address of the 2.4 laptop. So I'm going to have to go to the 2.4 laptop and get the MAC address. So let's go over here. I'm going to scroll over just a little bit. I'm going to open the 2.4 laptop. Here's my 2.4 laptop. I'm just double checking that I have the right device. I'm going to do an ipconfig/all. And I'm going to make this a little wider. I don't want the Bluetooth connection, I want the wireless connection, and I want this MAC address, this physical address right here. I'm going to highlight that. I'm going to right click on top of it and copy it. And I'm going to need to change that format when I put it into my MAC filter on the router. But I'm going to hold on to it. I'm just going to copy this. I'm going to close this out. I'm going to go back to my desktop here, where I'm browsed in. I'm on the 2.4 band. I want to enable MAC filters, and I want to permit only, I don't want to kick out a MAC address, I want to only permit the MAC addresses that are listed. And I'm going to paste this in, but you'll notice the format at once. So I'm going to have to go through here and go, digit colon, digit colon, digit colon, digit colon, digit colon, and make sure I make the format look like what's there existing. So that's what I have. That should be my MAC address applied, or I should say plugged in here. And I will come down to the bottom and do save changes. So that now should be set up to only the 2.4 band should only allow the 2.4 laptop. I'm going to continue. Hopefully it'll bring me back around. I'm then going to do the same process for the 5 laptop. So we're going to let that hopefully come back around. While that's coming back around, I think I'm just going to scroll over here. Let's get this 5 laptop. I'm going to open that up. Again, make sure I have the 5 laptop. Command prompt, ipconfig all, excuse me. And I want to get the wireless, not the Bluetooth. I want the wireless here. I want this MAC address. I'm going to highlight this. Again, I'm making sure I don't get any extra characters. Right click, copy. I will close out the 5. Let me go back to my desktop here. Alright, well, I think we will just rebrowse back in. There we go. I'll just rebrowse back in now. That's fine. Let's go to our wireless. Let's go to wireless MAC filter. We plugged in the 2.4 laptop in the 2.4. Let's hit the drop down and do 5 5.1. That's the one we configured. We disabled 5.2, 5.1. So let's enable this MAC filter. Let's permit only the MAC addresses we have listed. Let's paste in the MAC address for 5. And again, we'll change the formatting. Character, character, colon. We need to get rid of that period. Put a colon there. Character, character, colon. Get rid of that period. Put a colon in there. Character, character, colon. Make sure there's no extra spaces at the end. And that should be the MAC address for the 5 laptop. And we are going to save that setting now. Okay. So now that I have, this was the 2.4 that I did. Here was the 5 that I just got done doing. Okay. And at that point, we should hopefully have both of those plugged in. And I'm going to try to double check. So let me go here, and I'm just going to rebrowse back in. You can do it. You can do it. I was just going to make sure that those are actually plugged in. There are two MAC filters. Looks like it's still rebooting and applying the change. So I think we'll speed up time just a little bit. We'll go back in there again. There we go. Now we're browsed back in. And again, I just want to go to the wireless, and I want to go to the wireless MAC filter, and I'm just kind of making sure that the 2.4 MAC address is there. When I hit the 5 gigahertz one band, here should be the 5 laptop in there. All right. Now that those are plugged in, I'm going to close out that browser. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my laptops, and I'm going to make sure that they can still connect to the network. And if you want to do this from the logical tab, you can do that. I'm just still doing it all here like I'd be sitting at home. And I'm going to open up my 2.4 laptop. And what I'm going to do a little different this time is I'm going to go to the config tab in the wireless. So I'm going to go to the config tab, I'm going to wireless, and I'm just going to cycle this wireless NIC off. So I'm going to shut it off, wait a couple seconds. That'll kind of disconnect itself. And then I'm going to turn it back on. And if I have all my MAC filter settings correct, it should reconnect, should get an IP, the whole 9 yards, and be able to be on the network. So I'm going to go back to my desktop, IP config utility. I'm going to make sure I'm getting an IP address, and I am. If need be, do static and DHCP can make sure you get one. I'm then going to go to my IP actually I did that right there. There's IP config utility, and I'm going to open my browser and try to open a CNT.org, if you will. And that'll verify that I have all the settings correct for MAC filtering, and this device is still connecting on the network and not getting filtered out, but being permitted, which is what we were trying to do. CNT.org. And we're going to browse, and I'm still able to browse over to that website. So we know all those settings are plugged in there correctly. And we'll do the same test on our 5 laptop over here. We'll open up the 5 laptop. I'm going to make sure it's getting an IP. Actually, I'm going to go to the config tab, go to here, wireless. I will shut off the NIC, if you will, wait a couple seconds, turn the NIC back on, so it's trying to reconnect into the network. We'll go to the desktop. We'll go to the IP config utility. If that didn't come up, go pull that up, pull up the IP config utility. Make sure it gets an IP. If need be, cycle it off and on again. And then we're going to open the browser, and this time we'll try to open the Google server that I have created, google.com web server that I have created. So you can do it. You can do it, little computer. There you go. There's your laptop 5, www.google.com. And we got to the Google homepage. Yay! Okay. So we know these are now on the network, and if I go back out here to the logical, they're still showing connected. Oh, it looks like that went away for a second. We still show that they are connected, so the MAC filtering and everything in there is working correctly. It's permitting just those laptops on. If I tried to get another laptop out and connect on, I wouldn't be able to, because it's not, that MAC address is not on the list. It's not on the list of permitted devices. All right. We will come back in the last podcast and pull together our proof that we need for submitting the lab.